What's up, you guys? Just wanted to make a little quick video. Had some extra time, been pretty busy at work, but here's the car. You may have seen it in the background a couple of times. This 2008 335 XI. So I bought this off auction. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, it didn't start and there was no keys to it, but it was a repo car. So I figured, awesome, I'll order a key, start it up. Got it for a pretty good deal. Had 106,000 miles on it. I'm like, perfect, or 102. So go to the dealer, get a little key fob, 250 bucks or 260, something like that. Go to start it and it doesn't start. It just cranks and cranks, nothing. So it throws a whole bunch of misfire codes, everything. Then I noticed there was no water in the coolant, or there's no coolant in the radiator. So I'm like, okay, so I start pouring some coolant in there. I'm like, maybe see where it's coming out. It's coming out somewhere next to the thermostat. So I'm like, okay, maybe a new thermostat. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do anything to it until I get it started. So I have a buddy that works at BMW, and he came over and started messing with it. And it's pretty dirty because I haven't been doing anything with it, but I start messing with it, and he said that fuse box in there is what is shorted out or something. He said there's some kind of common problem. So I ordered a new fuse box, swap it in there. The stuff start working, the dash lights up, everything. So I'm like, oh, that must be the problem. And still doesn't start, just cranks and cranks. And he tells me that it's probably something in my computer. So I'm like, well, that's great. I have no idea what's going on, but I open the computer. I see some corrosion on there. The computer's right there. So I see some corrosion in there and start tracing it. I have no idea what to do. So I go ahead and didn't know that, but found out, trial and error, that if you take that computer from a donor car and you take this thing, let me see if I can pull it out through here. Right here, this is called a CAS. If you take that and the cluster and the key fob from the donor car, you can swap it out, and the car should start because all the computers are swapped out. Everything's good. The only thing is the light module, but that doesn't control anything that needs to be swapped out. So I find online, a computer that has I think 4,000 miles or 3,000 miles more than what I did. I wanted to make sure it was like within the same mileage. So I get the computer, and it came with the key. It actually came with keyhole and all that stuff, but I had the cut key already for this car. So I plug it in there, and it fires up the car. I was so stoked. Fired up the car, but a whole bunch of codes and everything on there. And come to find out that it's programmed. The other car, they didn't specify that on there, which when I asked, they couldn't give me the information. But the other car was a convertible and a manual. And this is a automatic and a hardtop, or not a convertible, a coupe. But so the car thought it was a convertible, and it would throw a convertible code, and it wouldn't start unless you have to put it into neutral so it started. So I'm like, well, that's not gonna work. So I take it to my buddy that worked at BMW. He tries to mess with it, tries to reprogram, eliminate that eliminate the options for the convertible, for the manual, and put in the good options. So while he's doing that, something happens and we fried the computer. So I'm like, great. And we won't start anymore. I'm like, that's pretty fun. So I get another set of computers which has a whole bunch of miles on it, and that one actually starts the car and drives the car for now. So I have 3 sets of computers: the original ones, one from a donor car that was a convertible and a manual, and one from a 4-door automatic 2-wheel drive one. So none of them matched. Well, then I'm like, well, I guess, I don't know, I didn't want to pay thousands of dollars and get this resolved, so I go ahead and buy some soldering stuff, and then buy this computer with a whole bunch of connectors, some programmer from China, and a whole bunch of little tools and stuff. Probably like 500 bucks worth of tools. And this is the fried computer. That's the CAS, original CAS, and that's the fried computer. Actually, that's the original computer that didn't start it. There's some corrosion on there. I don't know if it was on the other side. I cleaned it off, trying to see if it was gonna work, but I don't think it did. So that's all the original stuff, and I'm gonna try to open this up and swap some chips over, resolder them. I've never done it before, so this is gonna be a fun learning curve, but it's already screwed up and can't really break it anymore. I know what the issue is. I kind of know how to fix it, and I'm gonna try to save some money and try to fix it, so we'll see what happens. But so since I got it started on the other computer and I wanted to drive it, I had to, that's where the other stuff begins. So that's the computer stuff. I haven't figured it out yet, but I have all these computers from China and the soldering, and I've been trying on my one that we fried, and it's pretty hard. You have to know what the temperature is and all that good stuff, how to resolder, unsolder stuff. So I used to fix iPhones a little bit back in the day, so that kind of helps me, that I kind of know a little bit about soldering and all that good stuff, but I'll figure it out, I guess. My other thing is I'm gonna try to take the information off my computer that didn't start, that was corroded. I'm gonna see if I can hook it up to my laptop and pull the information off the chip, like the flash or EEPROM or whatever it is, and then clone it onto one of my computers, and then put my original cluster and my original CAS into this car that's already programmed to it, and see if that will do the trick. That's my hope, but I gotta find a nice computer right now, because the one's fried. The one I have with a whole bunch of miles is a MSD80, and I have a MSD81. It works, but I guess it's nicer, and I don't know if it's gonna clone from MSD81 to MSD80, so I don't want to get into that, but I'm just gonna try to find a donor computer just to solve the DME, and this guy right here, and clone it out. We'll see how that happens. That's gonna be on the next one. But so once I got it started, and then it was leaking oil. It was, I mean, literally everything was in oil. The oil filter, or the oil cooler, oil filter housing gasket leaking. So I start with the thermostat. I thought it was the thermostat. I took it all apart, and I didn't film any of this because I was so frustrated with this car that every time I start filming and fixing it, my battery would die on the GoPro and I would quit recording and get pissed, and one of those deals. But so come to find out, it wasn't the thermostat, but I already bought it, so I changed it out. It was the water pump. It was actually cracked. I have no idea where I put it. I would have showed you guys, but it actually cracked. The water pump cracked, and it, like the plastic part of it, it cracked. Let me see if I can find it, and then I can continue this video. Well, I can't find the water pump. It's somewhere around here. I have so much parts from my trucks and everything, and from the ones I take apart and part out, the ones I pretend I want to fix and still part them out. It's the big turbo from the one single turbo truck, and try to keep everything organized, but you kind of forget over time where you put stuff. Thought I put it somewhere in here, but I don't see where it's at, but that's fine. Well, so the story is, so I swap out the water pump, put water in there, Thermostat, swap it out. There's one hose that was broken. It's like this little guy. Where is it at? I don't know if you can see it, but it's in there. It's like a little hose, and I actually bought one that's built aluminum one. That's nice because it's all covered up now. I put everything back together. So I changed the water pump out. That's an electric one, so that wasn't cheap. Changed the thermostat out. That wasn't cheap either. And then I changed this one hose out. It was pretty soft and looked like it was ripping. Changed that out. I started, then this thing breaks off. Then I buy this little piece in there and start it again, and it's running like crap. There's oil everywhere, so I replaced the oil houser or oil housing gasket, oil cooler gasket, intake manifold gaskets, because I take the intake out and do that, and start it up. It's misfiring, and but it kind of runs rough. So I take it for a spin to see. I'm so excited it actually can drive. I changed the oil in it and do all that good stuff. It's pretty hot out here, so I'm sweating, but changed everything out. So excited that I can drive it. I take off probably like a mile away from my house. I hear something, some weird noise happening, and I hear all this weird stuff, and I'm down a hill at a stop sign, so I just try to back out to turn around, and I notice a whole bunch of black stuff on the bottom of the ground, or on the ground underneath the car. So I shut it off. I look, I'm like, what is that? It felt kind of weird. It looked like rubber or something. So I start heading back. My lights come on. I'm like, I lost the serpentine belt. I'm like, great. Well, it shredded. So I'm finding these things out as I go, that it's a common thing, and everybody's like, oh yeah. I'm like, well, this is my first rodeo with the N54, so I'm learning the hard way. So it shreds. I read online that, you know, if it shreds, it can suck up the belt into the motor through the front gasket. So I'm like, great. I take all this apart again. I change out the pulleys, the tensioner, the belt, and I pulled a balancer off to see if it didn't suck it in. So perfect, it didn't suck it in. It's had some pictures. If I find them, I'll upload them in this video. But it didn't suck up the belt. Everything was fine, and I was just so excited. So I changed that out, started up. It's making some weird noise every time it starts up. So, well, come to find out, it did suck up some rubber into the alternator, because it's some kind of free spinning. It spins the one way, but it doesn't spin the other way. So I do that, but I'm like, I gotta fix this misfiring. So new plugs, new coils. Finally, it's running good, except I think I need to change out the valve cover gasket now. I haven't done that one because I was so much parts to replace on this thing, and I just kind of got pissed and trying to save money. But at this point, it's literally everything that can go wrong with this car has gone wrong, and I fixed it. Now I need to fix that computer stuff. But the nice thing is I'll have, you know, fresh engine, or freshened up engine, and all the problem things fixed. So the next thing is to do the computer deal, and then swap out the valve cover gasket and clean it up. It's been pretty dirty just sitting here. But other than that, it's a pretty nice looking car. It's pretty equipped, got all the options and everything, and like navigation, all that good stuff. And I like the black. It goes nice with the X5, the white one. But here's the alternator. Here's the fuse box I changed out. All the pulleys, tensioners. This is the wire that I guess goes bad or burns up. There it is right here. That's the light module. This is the billet deal I got. So I think it's the one. No, that's not the one. Oh, and it had the light sensor, or shows you the position of the headlights or something. The hose that I replaced, so I guess maybe it was this. It was something. It had like a little nipple on there like that, and it screwed on, and it was a billet. Must have threw it away. But this is all the stuff I changed out. Coils and spark plugs, and there's an extra pulley that I bought and didn't use. But everything brand new. Boxes of old parts. I keep it just in case I change something out that wasn't bad, and I can use it somewhere else. But yeah, got a whole bunch of stuff that I still need to do, and I have a set of computers here and all that good stuff. Still stuff taken apart, but once I start doing that, I will start recording. Sorry for a whole bunch of talking, but I figured I'll throw a little video together just to have something up there. But yeah, that's been my nightmare car. Everything's gone wrong with it, and it's still, I mean, it drives now, everything's fine. It just has a whole bunch of miles on there, and it's the wrong it's a MSD80. I don't want to go to MSD81 and on the DME, and I want to have all the options that belong to this car on those computers, not off some donor car that doesn't belong. But I gotta clean it up and get that computer thing figured out. But yeah, that's it. 2 BMWs in the shop at the same time. At least this one was the easy one. It'll be on another video. I did some oil change and some little tweaks to it to make it sound a little nicer. But that's it, I guess. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Sorry for the all talk, boring video, so I figure I'll throw in some little clips, just some random ones. Enjoy. Thanks for watching. That thing's loud. That thing is loud. Once it gets to